All right. We have not Justin Shier on, Justin Shier. For all those people who keep mispronouncing it, just to clear the air.
And by the way, we have Milos on, not Milos, for the people who have a tendency to mispronounce.
That would be me.
Yeah. I think it's everybody. I think, yeah.
Hey,
even though I know, but I've been called Shier my whole life. That's why I have it in my Instagram handle, SHY-ER, to try to.
Chris misspelled your last name, and he...
No, it's because I was speaking into it. I told you it was wrong.
Talk to text.
Justin, question for you is your style of training, which I want to obviously dissect first, because I've always applauded your style of training since the get-go. You know, people might say, oh, it's pussy. Well, no, it's actually harder when you move weight.
People say that? People call me a pussy?
No, say like, you know, when people aren't like lifting or loading or throwing heavy weight around, it's like,
yeah.
When you control the weight and you're under time under tension for longer duration, mentally that's fucking harder. If you're doing 8 reps for leg press as heavy as you can versus 20 reps for leg press, 8 reps is a lot fucking easier.
Yeah, sure
20 reps is a lot harder.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Now, did you always train like that even prior to being a pro?
No, I definitely didn't always train like that. I used to train a lot more, maybe ballistic style, like focusing on a pump, supersetting, doing a lot of nonsense junk volume, I guess you'd call it. I came into this and it was like the Branch Warren era, and you watched him and Johnny just training like fucking maniacs. So a lot of times you'd want to emulate that. And I think that created a lot of bad training within the bodybuilding and fitness space. And I think that's where, you know, it was the Dorian area, and then it kind of pivoted right into that, which, all due respect to Branch and Johnny, those guys are fucking animals. It works for Branch and Johnny. That type of stuff isn't going to work for everybody.
Most people either.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's also a misconception as to what they were doing. And I think people, through their attempt at emulating that, were just not emulating it. You know, it was just haphazardly moving weight when these guys were moving, you know, substantial loads and could absolutely feel and contract the muscle. I mean, these guys, you know, Branch Warren knew what the fuck he was doing. It just, you know, he had his own style, and I think it's a much more difficult style to emulate. When I came to Matt Jansen in 2020, I had no back, and he really helped me a lot with the execution. So he was, you know, every week he'd have me send training videos, and he was fucking on top of me about it. He made me pause in the stretch. He made me hold these contractions. He made me control 2 to 3 second eccentrics. You know, he made sure I wasn't doing too much volume. He made sure, you know, he had all these little nuances in place, and it's not fluffy training, but he pulled me way back from what I was doing and made sure that those sets really fucking mattered. And I think that, to be honest, with my training, I think it gets a little misinterpreted. I think a lot of people look at my training and associate it with slow training, this really slow eccentrics, which, don't get me wrong, I mean, I do like a slow controlled eccentric, but I think more than anything, the emphasis that, you know, I put on my training, that a lot of people need to put on their training, is the control of the end ranges. It's the control.
Yeah.
It's the change of direction, you know. And I like to talk to my clients. I like to tell them, think about driving a car. I want you to ease on the brakes, stop, and then ease on the gas and accelerate out. And that's what those end ranges should look like. Now, in between, I don't give a fuck how fast you go. You can I want you to punch it, floor it on the concentric, and then the eccentric. You can, as long as it's controlled, I don't care if it's a 1 second negative or a 7, it doesn't really matter. I want you to control those end ranges and the change of direction and be explosive on the way up.
I don't think I heard from anybody else explanation as Justin just said. It's very, very good. I kind of like it. So end ranges, you get in complete control. In between, tempo can be whichever you want. Yeah, I like it. You don't believe in that peak contraction, shortening position, just squeezing?
Oh, I absolutely do. I think the data would suggest that the contraction doesn't matter a whole lot. And I disagree with that. I think that contractile force, it matters. And I think also it's much more applicable when you're talking about us being on stage and posing and mind-muscle connection on stage. You know, you want to be able to hit a most muscular and light that fucking chest up.
I think the other thing to add to it, the concentric part, why it's so valuable in bodybuilding, is because that's really kind of where you gain that mind-muscle connection, right? It's like, it's really hard to learn mind-muscle connection in a negative. It's much easier to learn how to contract and squeeze that muscle and being able to connect to that muscle and have that muscle move the weight. So like, Milos, like you saying it is like, it brings light to that whole concept.
Yeah. But you say now they say you can connect mind muscle. For me, this is exactly how you first connected. Peak contraction, whatever. If it's bicep, you squeeze the shit out of it in that peak, maximally shortened position, right? Or chest. That's how you establish that mind muscle connection. Okay, then you can go for like 1 inch stretch, 2 inch, 3 inch stretch, but you're gonna constantly feel it. I love to stay stretch in that flying position and wait for that stretch over with pain.
I do like to pause in the stretch. I mean, there, 1, 2, whole. But honestly, in a lot of my programming, I will have loaded stretches in there. At the end of a chest day, I want you to hold 2 50-pound dumbbells in the stretch in the press position in the very bottom for 2 minutes. That's my first show in 2019. So, I mean, look at what my back looked like. I mean, you can look at my arms. I got fucking 21-inch arms and no back and no glutes and hamstrings.
It's wild.
So I needed to figure something out. So that's why I started training that way. I already had, 19-inch arms, natural.
How about you, Chris? How long did you train natural?
Well, I mean, I started weight training with weights, like just bench press, dumbbell presses, rows, deadlift, squats since I was 13. And I didn't use anabolics until I was 21.
Okay.
But I mean, like real strict, hardcore bodybuilding training, maybe honestly, 1.5 to 2 years.
So you also had the issue with the back, right?
Big time.
You didn't have a back initially.
Seems like most guys, that's the problem, and more than anything, is the posterior chain.
100%, especially white guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but it's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's okay.
Yeah,
We can be racist against ourselves.
Yeah. Somebody.
Nobody will cancel us.
Justin, would you say that the back is your best body part?
No, my back is my weakest body part, I would say.
Front relaxed is ridiculous.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, my back looks good. It looks like I have a good back from the front.
I remember when I was seeing your pictures for nationals, it's like, oh, he's going to win easily.
Yeah, Carlos got me.
What good thing about your physique that I think is incredible in regards to growing into it more is like you have such gnarly shape that even another 20 pounds of muscle is not going to ruin that shape, where some people where they start to grow and as they grow, their shape gets a little more wonky.
Yeah.
It's like you have actually room to play to actually become more wonky and it's still not going to hurt you.
Yeah, I think I can facilitate another 15 pounds or so, and I think it'll only accentuate my shape. I don't really think that I'm running a risk at this point of making things worse, because you do see that. You see some guys that get too big and it just kind of affects their shape, throws off their lines. But
it gets weird.
Yeah.
So you train every day, or
I train five days a week.
Right.
Well, I have my back and hamstring day. I still have a quad movement, so I do 2 sets of the leg press on my back and hamstring day. So I'm training quads twice a week. Quads are my weak body part. I need to bring up my legs. So I'm essentially training legs twice and back twice. So it's like a back and leg day and then a full leg day and a full back day. I've never pumped my abs backstage.
I did backstage, yeah, too. Especially if you have something to grab and do the hanging leg raises. I would.
Sure.
As soon as I get off of it, it's just like it's there. It's like
communication.
Your belly button is pulled in and everything is surround wrap. And then
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It looks
that
super tight.
Yeah.
But if I would train the abs like more and more, like who said it? Regan sent me that video that he is against training abs because it can widen your waist and thicken the muscles.
Yeah, don't do fucking oblique crunches with the plates. Yeah.
With like 200-pound dumbbell.
Yeah, don't do that.
For me, when I finish my few sets of abs, I have my abs have to look perfect.
So like that's me right now.
Oh wow.
So
oh
you
wow,
can see
fat or oh wow, good.
Pretty fat, but there's still some depth, a little more depth in the abs there than there was certainly when there was last year in that video. So I mean, I have given them a little attention, just definitely not as much as they deserve.
Well, here's a question that Milos is going to ask next. How much protein are you bringing in the off season, and does the protein intake change as you get deeper into prep?
So right now I'm doing 200 cooked protein 5 times a day, but when I was with Matt, I was doing 250 5 times a day.
Oof.
Which it was hard. Matt's a high protein guy. So 5 meals I think is kind of the sweet spot for me.
Yeah, Milos, I know you're gonna say something.
No, I mean I'm just thinking about the whole thing. I don't want to sound weird, but I'm gonna tell you, ever since I started bodybuilding, right, I've seen my nutrition exactly what's happening in my body. If I take a protein, break it down to amino acids, I see them being sent into the tissues, integrated into the muscle. I actually visualize. I make myself see it, right? So if I have enough and I stimulate the muscle, I know, okay, I'm sending it right there. I'm building the tissue. And I'm 100% sure about it. If mind is over the body, and you're just going to neglect the idea that, oh, maybe I can direct these calories where I want them. Maybe I can tell my amino acids that muscle protein synthesis to happen. I'm going to send all my EAAs and whatever non-essential amino acids that I can manufacture. I can see it.
So through the like the power of thought, you actually feel like you are directing these molecules and these. Yeah,
and I want to live with that because those people. If I eat this cake, it's going to go right into my love handles. So you just sent it there.
Yeah.
Just sent it there.
I mean,